everyone, and welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico, the home of the Sandia Peak Tram and the site of tonight's matchup between North Carolina FC and New Mexico United. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by First Financial Credit Union. Welcome in to the lab. My name is Tyler Ortega, joined tonight by JJ Buck. And JJ, coming into today, both of these sides sitting in third place in their respective conferences.
Yeah, for New Mexico, they are super excited to be back on the pitch, but home in front of this crowd in North Carolina. They know how to battle on the road.
Plenty to get into here tonight, so let's jump into it with our players to watch, brought to you by Toyota. And we're going to start off first here with New Mexico United's own. The anchor now in the midfield. He'll be making his third appearance for the club, having just recently joined. It's Ousmane Jabang.
Yeah, the defensive back line for New Mexico United is solid, but this is going to help take pressure off them and be a force right in front of that back four for New Mexico.
Ousmane Jabang, of course, spending some time with head coach Dennis Sanchez last season out in Sin City with Las Vegas Lights. And now on the other side, it's Evan Conway, the goal scorer. He's already got 3 in his bag so far.
Trouble in the box. You got to mark this guy. He scored with his left foot, his right foot, a header. If he's in the 18, he's going to find the ball.
Evan Conway, the former San Diego Loyal man, he's no stranger to doing battle here with the black and yellow. Those are your players to watch. Brought to you by Toyota. We're going to go ahead and step aside for just a moment. When we return, we'll have lineups and kickoff as the 2025 New Mexico United season is brought to you by Sandia Resort and Casino. Close to home, far from ordinary.
At Blake's, we're proud to call our food fresh. We think every burger should be cooked to order and fresh off the grill. This patty's big, blockbuster big, and 100% Angus beef. Now, the finishing touch. This is a superior meat to bun ratio for the best burgers your mouth's ever tasted. Blake's Fresh Take is worth the wait.
Robert reading for Victor, and action.
Mary, I love you more than anything, but this student debt, it's like a weight I can't shake. I'm drowning.
Now you're angry. Go.
But this student debt, it's like a weight I can't shake. I'm drowning.
You're full of sorrow.
I'm drowning.
And cut. Great. We'll be in touch.
Good thing I went to C&M.
How about
Back here at the lab, Tyler Ortega alongside JJ Buck. Kickoff moments away. Let's go ahead and have a look at our starting lineups here tonight, brought to you by New Mexico Orthopedics. Now, JJ, we haven't seen this New Mexico United side on the pitch in 2 weeks. Just one change for Dennis Sanchez. It's Makwele Akale.
Yeah, Akale and Fernando, they're going to be doing a big job providing for Hurst, try to get him set up and get him in the back of the net.
And here on the other side for North Carolina FC, John Bradford making 3 changes to his side that made the comeback against Indy 11 last week. It's Tristan Hodge, Finn Sundstrom, and Luis Perez all getting the start today.
Of course, we're going to be focused on the fourth captain since he's been back in the lineup. It is a steady thing for North Carolina. They came back from a 2-goal deficit, got some points on the road last week, and I'm really interested to see how they decide to start this game pressure-wise against New Mexico.
This one should be good here tonight. Kickoff brought to you by Bank of America. So there you see New Mexico in their traditional black and yellow home strips with Meow Wolf on the front. North Carolina in all red here tonight. This is their first trip out to the 505. These two teams have only met once previously. It was last April, actually. that a 3-2 win for the Black and Yellow out in Cary, North Carolina. And so North Carolina will get things started. That is Alex Tambakis. He's no stranger to North Carolina FC. Played for the club for 3 seasons, made 77 appearances. Now he's the last line of defense for New Mexico. And in fact, tonight, making his 125th league appearance for the Black and Yellow. Kickoff at the lab. Immediately headed away by Kalen Ryden. That's the captain on his 34th birthday here today.
Happy birthday, and hopefully he's been blowing out some candles post-game celebrating a victory.
Craig going back to McGuire. Pressure being applied by Vargas. Falls to Dolabella. And this will be a throw in here for New Mexico, but North Carolina here just 60 seconds in, already looking to ask some questions.
That's something that New Mexico has to be ready for. Paco Craig, he's completed 40.5% of his long passes. He's a willing passer out of the back, and he can put it in dangerous spaces.
Paco Craig, a veteran here of the USL Championship, having previously spent time with Louisville City on some championships there, then spent the last few seasons in Miami, spent last year with North Carolina. In total, tonight, his 265th professional appearance.
Definitely saw things change when he came back into his lineup. First game back for Craig, that a 1-0 victory against Tulsa.
That is our player to watch, Ousmane Jabang. He was acquired from CF Montreal of the MLS in mid-March, just after the season had started. But obviously, somebody who head coach Dennis Sanchez really values.
And New Mexico United went all in to bring him in. I'm really excited to watch how he continues to develop in front of the center backs for United.
Jabang with the turn. Links up with Vargas. 2 weeks to the day since the Black and Yellow have had some real competition. Their trip up to Colorado Springs postponed last weekend due to inclement weather. And so a little bit of a bye week, impromptu bye week, if you will. Early in the season for it, having only played 4 matches, that was a meaty challenge there from Maldonado, and Hurst called for the foul.
And United's a little double-edged sword early in the season. They got a chunk of matches coming up, so they're going to be ready to go. But you also want to stay in that rhythm. I think the first couple minutes, you see the energy, see the aggressiveness here tonight.
Ball hit towards the top of the box and asking for a touch. They're going to get it. It's a corner kick coming up here for North Carolina FC. That's a look at the gaffer, Dennis Sanchez. In his first season at the helm, he, of course, ended the season of the Black and Yellow last year as the manager for Las Vegas Lights.
Well, it shows you the reputation of New Mexico United. Sanchez, the success he had last year at Vegas. So want to come to an organization like New Mexico United in front of this fan base and the talent that this team has acquired.
Here's Perez, the 27-year-old Frenchman. His 3rd consecutive season with North Carolina. That one was heading towards the penalty spot before it was headed away by Marlon Vargas. Rafa looking into the box, and looked like Ryden got a piece of it, and he did. So another corner coming up here for NCFC.
And North Carolina, have to like what you've seen from them early in this one, pushing the ball up the flanks, getting service inside the box, and putting New Mexico United on their heels. You know they wanted to come out, really ignite this crowd. They have to defend her early.
Maldonado over to take the corner. San Antonio, Texas native. Joined the club via free agency in January of 2023. The in-swinger looking back post. Was initially met by Hodge. Played out by New Mexico. 5 minutes gone by here. It's mostly been the visitors asking the questions. That's a look at John Bradford in his 4th season with NCFC. Led the club to the 2023 USL League One title before they made the jump back to the championship. That ball momentarily touched there by Vargas. It'll go all the way back to Hodge. New Mexico now looking to tilt the field the opposite way.
Yeah, United, you want to settle into possession. It's what they've been good at this season. They're very accurate with their passes. But North Carolina, they came back from 2 goals down the last time out at Indy 11, and that was coming off a big win over Charleston Battery. So they can come back. They know they can be aggressive, and it's a good challenge here early for New Mexico.
Zalalem goes down in the center circle. It's going to be a free kick here for New Mexico. Free kicks brought to you by TLC, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Zalalem looking to slice his way through the defense. That's going to give us time for this 5:29 game update. That's brought to you by the Education Plan, New Mexico State-sponsored 529 plan. Give your kids a better and brighter future. Learn more at theeducationplan.com. Galen Ryden, 131st USL Championship appearance for the Black and Yellow. Joined the club back in the 2nd season, 2020. Jabang plays this off to Quelle. Jabang making a run. Will give and go. Jabang quickly runs out of space. One ball given back. I believe that was Somersault. That'll give us time for these keys to the game, brought to you by the Somos Unidos Foundation. Make McGuire work. We'll talk more on Jake McGuire here in just a little bit. Keep Conway covered. A lot easier said than done. And, of course, keep your cool. Now, JJ, I don't think that's exactly what it was referencing, but it was close to 90 degrees here today. By far the hottest day we've seen yet in the Albuquerque Metro. And a quick look at the Ben Sherman Law injury report. Deion Harris still working his way back. As Quelle has that ball chipped away there by Paco Craig as he makes his way into the box. New Mexico now starting to gain some momentum.
Yeah, you love the run forward from Jabang just a little bit earlier, getting that spark in the attack. And for New Mexico United, again, they settle in. They're comfortable possessing. They talked this week about taking on the different challenges, whether the team wants to press them and drop back. North Carolina holding their lines pretty good here early.
Here's Quelle on the long ball from Vargas, and we're going to see a yellow card coming out early on as Quelle draws the foul. And I believe that was the Frenchman Perez, the guilty party. So just 9 minutes in here, we see our first yellow card brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm, New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years. And yeah, Perez, he knew it as soon as it happened.
Hard challenge, tough challenge. Card comes out immediately. All studs right there. Now we'll see when United can pull the bag right here.
This looks to be about Mukwele Akale territory, especially from this angle. The free kick specialist scored 3 times from direct free kicks last year for New Mexico. Quelle last to touch the ball. Last time Akale found the back of the net, it was right here on this field. It was in the first round of the playoffs against Phoenix Rising. 85th minute, he was the difference maker. Looking for his first goal of 2025. And it's Quelle. He didn't miss by much. You can hear the reaction of the crowd as well.
Had the six-man wall in front of him, one laying down on the ground, so you knew he was going to go high. Didn't get the dip at the end, but the pace was perfect.
Easily, with you think of top ball strikers in club history, you got to mention Chris Wehan, of course. You've got guys like Justin Portillo that have played in that midfield, but Quelle Akale, he deserves to be in that conversation with those guys.
He's making his mark, not only providing the service from the outside, but those opportunities with those free kicks finding the back of the net. And with New Mexico United, with what Greg Hurst provides up top, the goal scorer, and you start finding those second, third options, that's going to make this attack really dangerous.
Now, we haven't even talked about Greg Hurst, the forward leading goal scorer on the season for New Mexico. Was the leading goal scorer last season as well. 3 goals to his name. He and Evan Conway both with 3 goals so far this season. Nice turn by Zelalem. Oh, and what a ball. Was looking for Quelle Akale, just quite didn't have the weight right. Excellent vision.
And those opportunities are going to be there. North Carolina, they're playing 5 at the back in defense, letting New Mexico United have possession, but it's these opportunities, middle of the pitch, can you push it forward?
Fernando able to connect with Akale here. Jabang. Here's Akale. Akale has the shot attempt blocked, but New Mexico now on the front foot. But what a touch that was from the Brazilian Fernando to get around his defender. That really set up that long ball. Of course, Fernando scored his first goal for the club last time out, just a couple weeks ago, out at Pitbull Stadium in the 305.
Look at Jabang getting forward, providing a spark here in the early minutes, the touch, and we talked about him kind of coming in being a defensive anchor, and all of a sudden he's out there making plays in the final third.
Free kick here for NCFC. Thanks for joining us. It is a beautiful evening here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Whether you're watching in New Mexico on New Mexico 50 or on ESPN Plus. All of you joining us out there out east, thanks for staying up late. 9 p.m. kickoff back in North Carolina.
And Tyler, that's when you look at the USL Championship.
Flag stays down here on Akale. He's got support arriving through the middle. Akale now cuts it back. Fernando, and the foul called on Lindsay off the ball.
Another great ball forward, though, trying to release Akale. And those opportunities are going to be there. It's going to have to take good passes. But if New Mexico United is able to find them over the top, they can get some runs. But speaking of the USL Championship, the beauty of the United States is, you're going to have different time zones, so many different climates, and the challenges, the travel too mixed in all that.
And this is the first trip to Albuquerque for North Carolina FC. And one thing that the visitors may not know is that we are a mile high here in elevation. And that's something that we'll keep an eye on as this match wears on.
It's something you always look for in the second half. Coaches and players, they don't want to dwell on it because you don't want it to get in your head, the altitude, but it can start to weigh you down.
5,223 feet. I think if you just ran up the hill just here to the east of us, JJ, you would be at a mile up as that ball cleared out by Talon Maples, arriving just ahead of the North Carolina player. I think it was Dolabella that made the run. Dolabella and Rafa both.
Rafa so good. You see that touch there at the line to get it in such a dangerous position. And that touch could go anywhere when it gets right there in front of the goal.
Pedro Dolabella, already with 1 goal so far this season, was looking to double his tally. Ensuing corner, that missed everybody. Talon Maples, previously with Houston Dynamo 2. He was the club captain while he was there. Made 48 appearances, scored 7 times. Here's Lindsay now. Over to Fernando. Ball cleared out for a throw in.
North Carolina tried to press a little bit higher there, and Lindsay found the space and was able to dart forward.
And that's a dangerous game if you want to try to press high against this New Mexico United squad. There is speed all over that front line. And I think North Carolina are finding that out with the couple of long balls that have been hit on both sides now. Here's Alalam. Looking again for Akale. Gets it back from Hurst. Here's Seymour now. Seymour finds Hurst. The Scotsman just couldn't strike it cleanly.
I like to work from Akale here early in this one, and you talk about the pace and people asking, well, what's different under Dennis Sanchez this season? Well, it's leaning into that speed. And two, when you're playing out of the back, you look at what Maples and Ryden have done. They're very accurate with their passes, and then that springs open everything else.
Judged to have gone off Perez. It'll be a throw in here for New Mexico. Last time these two teams met, last April, North Carolina opened the scoring 16 minutes in, but just 3 minutes later, Greg Hurst converted from the penalty spot. Here's Vargas. Back to Lindsay. Jabang now. Fernando has space. Going back to that last game, it was Sergio Rivas ended up being the difference maker in second half stoppage time. One of 3 goals Rivas scored last year as New Mexico earned their first corner kick here of the evening. Corner kicks brought to you by Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Hello, crisp, refreshing taste. Hello, Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Vargas to deliver. Hit away right in front of Kalen Ryden.
Good job there by North Carolina. First corner we've seen from United. Getting the ball forward, seeing a lot of touches on the edges. Then get something in the box, get that extra touch in the final third.
Jabang looking for the run of Fernando. And the offside flag is up on the Brazilian.
Look at Jabang coming out, pulling the strings, getting up the pitch. Seen some really good touch on passes from him. See why Coach Sanchez was hungry to get him into the squad.
Jabang, last time out, played 90 minutes down in Miami. Won 4 fouls in the midfield. Ryden able to get a foot on that. Lindsay was looking long for Hurst. Vargas gets it back, but Hurst unexpecting. Now for those North Carolina fans that are maybe watching a New Mexico United home match for the first time, wondering what's going on, this is a tradition called the Magic Minute. Now it's something that started all the way back in the club's first season back in 2019. It was an idea that was, oh, hold on that as Conway is through, and Tambakis comes up huge against his former club.
First dangerous opportunity for Conway and Tambakis. When you leave your line as goalkeeper, someone's bearing down on you, you've got to be clean with it. He was right there and forced in the corner.
Massive save there from the league's all-time saves leader. Came into tonight 630, make that 631. Maldonado now set to deliver the corner. Punched away by Tambakis. Arcale links up with Vargas. New Mexico off and running. There's Fernando. Finds Arcale. The attack continues. Arcale goes down. And that looked to be just outside the box. And Arcale is shown a yellow for simulation.
That was very decisive by the referee, leaving no doubt. Chance to see this one again here in a moment on the counterattack. Kale trying to do his best, earn that free kick. However, yellow card, and it's a confident call from the lead official. Looks like he got that one right.
Not the first time that we've seen the yellow card pulled on Miquele Arcale for simulation either. As the New Mexico United faithful here at the lab, not big fans of that call. Play on. And so while we've got a second to breathe, just finishing up the explanation on the Magic Minute. Started 2019, club's first season, club's first manager, now the DC United gaffer, Troy Lesane. It was actually his idea, and so it starts at the 19-minute, 12-second mark, and that is to signify when New Mexico was officially recognized as a state, and they go all the way up until the 20-minute, 18-second mark, and that to signify 2018 when New Mexico United were founded as a club.
I love it. You know, everyone's looking for their own unique way to celebrate, bring atmosphere, and great job from Troy to have that idea. The fans have loved it since the start, and it's also one that catches you off guard a little bit, especially if there's nothing going on early in the game, and all of a sudden the fans just start cheering. You're like, what's going on? It just adds to the excellent atmosphere here at the lab. I'm
sure some of the NCFC players were kind of shocked when it was just a throw-in near midfield, and the crowd just starts going crazy out of nowhere. And talking with the New Mexico United players, on the contrary, they say they get a boost from it. They feel that energy. Zalalem looking to spring Fernando loose. The Brazilian putting in a shift, and the offside flag is up once again.
And the great thing about the Magic Minute, it doesn't matter what's going on. A throw-in, a stoppage in play, a scoreless game, could have the lead, whatever it may be. You get that energy regardless.
Well, so far, the lion's share of the possession siding with the hosts. Backus.
I've seen 4 corner kicks. North Carolina finding some space on the wings.
Sundstrom loses his footing just a little bit.
So that is the area of the pitch covering the infield dirt.
Finn Sundstrom getting the start. Just 18 years old. Joined the NCFC Academy when he was 11, JJ. Made his pro debut last season in a 5-0 win against Oakland Roots.
You can soak up a ton on that back line with Paco Craig, captain for North Carolina. Now another opportunity. This set piece we've seen, multiple corners.
One of the unique features here of the lab is that grass berm area. Truth be told, JJ, that is an excellent view of the pitch.
Good views here in the lab.
This ball played into the box. Overhit there from Maldonado.
Maldonado's been really good this year. 7 chances created coming in to tonight's match. And much as we talk about New Mexico United trying to create those chances on the wings, North Carolina FC dangerous as well with the players that they have. And we've seen it already in the first half.
Here's Lindsay. Fernando goes down as Dolabella, his fellow Brazilian, did not take too kindly to that.
It's Fernando, the flair that he plays with, and then that top 3 for New Mexico United.
Vargas able to run this ball down, but immediately dispossessed. Foul called against New Mexico.
But Greg Hurst already has 3 goals on the season, but he just has to be so excited to have Akale, Fernando playing off him, creating chances, and, of course, drawing defenders away with their speed.
Here's another look on this TLC replay. It was Ryden that just came through late. Got more of the man than the ball. Great little poke forward there. Cervania, first time we've called his name as that ball cleared out. Keelan Ryden that time.
North Carolina sniffing the first goal of this game. Multiple balls into the box, causing United to scramble defensively, but they've been good on that defensive touch, forcing the corner.
So another corner coming up here for Mikey Maldonado. His 3rd from that side by my count. Here comes the in-swinger. Making back post for Hodge. Headed back into the middle. But not quite far enough. There'll be another corner kick coming up here for the visitors.
Seen the last couple corner kicks go back post. They've tried to play on right into the mixer. So you want to go out towards a penalty spot.
Bunch of score updates there for you. Top left corner of your screen, Hartford, Indy 11. That match ended up postponed. The rest of them have been played, are playing. This ball delivered in. And right into the waiting arms of Alex Tambakis. It looked like Dolabella might have got the contact, just not enough.
Dolabella and Hodge going back, frustrated. He knows he missed an opportunity there. He was free.
Tristan Hodge, 6'2", one of the taller players out there on the pitch. Hodge, the Trinidad and Tobago international. Tambakis has played well so far for New Mexico this season. A couple of clean sheets in 4 appearances. He's made 12 saves.
It was fantastic on the road in Miami for United. Very familiar with North Carolina. It's a really just good start to this one. Both teams half chances. Dangerous ball in the box a few times for North Carolina, and they're showing they're not scared here on the road.
Minutes gone by here in Albuquerque. Tyler Ortega alongside JJ Buck here on ESPN Plus and New Mexico 50. Conway and Maples both go down. Official not quite interested in that. Nabil Ben Salah running the show. Along the lines, you've got Matthew Schwartz and Eric Del Rosario Gandara, and our fourth official is Mario Garcia.
So another opportunity, foul from United, setting up. Chance to put the ball back in the box.
There's Dolabella going down there. Fernando called for the foul, and so another opportunity for NCFC.
It's been good. They've marked who they've needed to mark. Their line, Sambakis saw a punch out in the corner earlier.
Tristan Hodge a little bit frustrated there with Greg Hurst. And now Conway is going to receive a talking to here from Nabil Ben Salah.
But it wasn't me.
Evan Conway scored 12 times last season with NCFC in 31 appearances. Here's Maldonado. And sent away immediately by Marlon Vargas. Cervania plays this up, and the shot sent into the crowd by Perez.
North Carolina got the big switch right there, and they've been finding space on the flanks, getting inside the 18-yard box. Mexico United, they've been patient, defending probably more than they would have liked, even with the possession numbers. North Carolina, they've been quick to go forward when they get possession.
New Mexico showing some patience, building out of the back here. Zalalem slips. That could have spelled trouble. Fernando draws the foul. Fernando, the USL veteran, 200 league appearances in his career. 201 here tonight, showing the youngster Finn Sundstrom. Just telling him, take some notes.
And it's amazing when that ball came right back to him, just how quickly he was ready to go. But he's able to draw the foul there. And what's really been interesting to watch for North Carolina FC early, they set back just a little. And you've seen that midfield, that front for North Carolina when United's in possession, they've been creeping a little bit higher and higher, just kind of gradually putting the pressure on New Mexico United, forcing them to have to be really good trying to play out of the back.
Well, we've got a moment. Let us tell you about the USL on CBS, kicking off on Sunday on the CBS Sports Network. Birmingham Legion will try to derail the fast-starting El Paso Locomotive. That's April 13th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Mountain Time on the CBS Sports Network. Here's Fernando. He's looking deep into the box there for Greg Hurst. Instead, this will be a throw-in for New Mexico.
Let's see if United can maintain a little bit of pressure in the final third.
Here's Lindsay. Fernando into Zalalem. Jabang now. Maldonado eventually able to come away with possession, but only momentarily. Vargas just looking to thread the needle there to Fernando, but for North Carolina, JJ, every time they get the ball, they give it back immediately.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of forcing United to have to play over the top a lot here in the first half.
Rafa now shown yellow. That's the second yellow card issued to NCFC here in just this first half.
Yeah.
Yellow cards, of course, brought to you by the guys at Ferguson Law Firm.
Our ref definitely sets the tone here in the first half. Already seen 3 yellow cards, 2 tough challenges from North Carolina, simulation on Akale.
So Vargas and Akale both standing over this one for New Mexico. .37th minute here at the lab. It's Vargas looking back post. He was looking for the run of Greg Hurst and just out of reach of the Scotsman.
The angle we had on that was a beautiful free kick. Hurst, if he could get there, there was plenty of pace. If he directed it on goal, it was going to be a tough one for McGuire to deal with.
Yeah, Hurst, he really would have only had to redirect it just with how hard that ball was hit from Marlon Vargas.
A lot of times you see players kind of end up looping those into the box, and that one was able to be like a liner.
Jake McGuire, the Chino, California native, played his college soccer at Tulsa, where he's the program leader in shutouts, minutes, and games. Speaking of being the leader, leads the USL Championship in saves so far this season. Foul called against New Mexico. Another look, Seymour, the guilty party. Rafa making the run. He goes down. And Zalalem now.
Here, Akale's run, but a clip sent Rafa down, and he was buzzing towards the 18.
And so now the yellow cards even at 2 apiece. There you see it.
Yep, got him.
He did get him.
And credit to the ref. He's been on top of it in this first half.
And so a free kick coming up here for New Mexico. And so obviously a big one here tonight, JJ, but another matchup looms for New Mexico. The U.S. Open Cup returning to the 505 as New Mexico United hosting their good friends from I-25 South, El Paso Locomotive, making the trip up. That is next Wednesday, right across the street from us, where you and I traditionally broadcast the UNM soccer games. We'll be at the UNM Soccer Complex, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Make sure to get online, get your tickets now. All of the ticketing going through UNM for that one, since they are hosting the game. Make sure that you're there. New Mexico looking to start another deep run into the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Free kick here. Tried to hit it low. Miscommunication there as Vargas kept going. Akale thought he was going to pull back. Here's Perez. No problem there for New Mexico.
Good job by United defensively. after the deflection on the first one, second ball coming back in, making sure there wasn't a touch on it. But if you're North Carolina, you have to be feeling really good about the pressure you've put on the back line of New Mexico United, the amount of corners, free kick opportunities that you've had in this first half.
Scenes from the supporters section. I'm quite bummed that the match against El Paso is at UNM, not here at the lab. You and I, we've got the night off from that. The Cup doing their own broadcast. I would have loved to spend 90 minutes in there.
Oh, goodness. What a crowd it is tonight. New Mexico United, excellent fan base, supporter section. It's always buzzing.
Seymour called for the foul. Got to be careful. That's his second foul in just a few minutes. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship, from the Academy to the big leagues. Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
Tyler, we know when it comes to goal scorers up top, it just takes one moment. But the way North Carolina has kind of forced New Mexico United to play out of the back, play on the wings. You know, Greg Hurst, he's been kind of bouncing around. You can tell he wants to get a touch on it, but they've done a good job of kind of isolating him in the middle.
Hurst, he's been quite starved of opportunities, of touches. It's a little bit how it was down in Miami as well. He's having to sink in just to get some touches, and there he is again. A little bit heavy that time.
Seeing the moments that kind of North Carolina decides to press, it's, you know, really makes tight windows for United to have to be so clean out of the back.
Fernando couldn't quite keep that ball in play. Fernando, the Sao Paulo, Brazil native. It's the first Brazilian in club history. Great defending there from Maples, using the body to keep Summersall away. He's getting physical there. Play on, says the official. I think that was Hodge and Jabang getting tied up. I'm sure we'll get another look at that here in just a little bit, as Hodge still down. And that looked to be just a little bit of frustration boiling over on both parts.
And in the last few minutes, we've really seen North Carolina not allowing New Mexico United to get forward. Jabang was so good early in this one, and we'll see what the referees talk about, because it looked like there might have been a little extra at the end there.
And just from what I saw, it looked like Hodge kind of tried to drag Jabang down, and Jabang, as he kind of shrugged him off, may or may not have made contact with Tristan Hodge. What a crowd here tonight. Close to 10,000 expected for this one. Hodge just receiving some attention here from the trainer.
Tyler, I was expecting a good start from North Carolina, especially after what happened at Indy 11. You know, they fall behind 2-0, but you see the grit that they have to come back in that game, score 2 goals to tie it up, get one in stoppage time. But especially after coming off, you know, the game against Charleston Battery, the 45 minutes of that one, they were buzzing. They were looking really good. And it shows you a team, and we can play multiple styles. You have that confidence that we knew this was going to be a challenge for United tonight.
Hodge looks to be okay. And so that is 45 minutes into the books. And so we'll enter New Mexico Pinon Coffee stoppage time. The taste of enchantment. So off the restart. Everybody looks to be okay.
It's interesting. We see a moment like that with the way the first half has been called. You know, it's a ref has been on it, not letting a lot of things go when it comes to the physicality, the yellow cards he's shown, but it's kind of allowing both parties to go their way after that one.
Conway was asking for a handball there on Ryden. Instead, this one pinged forward, looking for Rafa down the flank, and it was just overhit. So both sides still looking for the opener here. First half stoppage time. Certainly haven't been short of opportunities. Here's Zalalam. Thought about trying to go for the run of Makwele Akale. Here's Lindsay now. Back to Vargas. Vargas looking for Akale wide, and Akale keeps it in play. Zalalam. Connects with Jalen Lindsay. Lindsay, the Charlotte, North Carolina native. Spent some time with Charlotte FC before coming over to New Mexico. He and Mackenzie Gaines very familiar with North Carolina. That's the halftime whistle. 45 minutes in the books. We're scoreless here at the lab between New Mexico United and North Carolina FC. Halftime score presented by First Financial Credit Union. JJ, your thoughts on the opening 45?
I think in New Mexico, they're going to go into half and see how North Carolina is playing them. And North Carolina's done a good job of sitting back. We just saw right there, they just pretty much bled the final 2 minutes of stoppage time out because they were holding their line so good. But then pressing forward, and United has the ball deep because you don't want to be lulled into just long passes over the top. So I'll look to see how United change that in the second half.
Halftime here at the lab. A full moon in the distance. We'll step aside. We'll be back with some halftime.
Hey, we've got a saying. Get off your... Show off. Mountain Dew.
It's time to kick off a new kind of partnership. Meet Carmela from Bernalillo County Animal Care, who is ready to join the game. Your support helps give these amazing animals a chance to play, grow, and to find a loving home, just like Frank did. Visit your local shelter and discover the joy of adopting a new teammate. Together, we can make every day a winning game.
Every New Mexican deserves to age with dignity and independence. So New Mexico Aging Services provides connection, resources, and advocacy for aging adults, adults with disabilities, and caregivers across the state. From preventing mistreatment and advocating for rights, to guiding Medicare decisions, to connecting you with meals, transportation, and community, New Mexico Aging Services is by your side. Learn more at aging.nm.gov.
Back here at the lab, scoreless between New Mexico United and North Carolina FC. Halftime brought to you by First Financial Credit Union. Tyler Ortega here alongside JJ Buck, alongside about 10,000 of the black and yellow faithful. Let's just go ahead and jump right into some of our halftime programming. Starting off first with our scoreboard from around the league. Here in week 6, we've got plenty of action going on. Here you see we mentioned that postponed match earlier between Hartford and Indy, but some big-time matchups. You see Charleston doubling up on Pittsburgh Riverhounds 2-1. Loudoun dumping Tampa Bay. Tampa having just got rid of their manager earlier this week. Oakland Roots looking to hang on in Tulsa for a 2-1 win. And Miami, could they be ending their winless streak of 13 games?
Woo! 2-goal lead at the half, and what a moment that would be for that squad.
Some games still coming up here this evening. You've got Switchbacks in Monterey Bay, Phoenix Rising, and Detroit City doing battle out in the Valley. As we'll move on to our news and notes, as the league posted a new record for viewership. 453,000 people tuned in for the USL on CBS between San Antonio and Phoenix. That is a new league record. We'd like to recognize our coach and player of the month, Carlos Llamosa and Abdelatif Abukura. We'll show them here in just a moment. And Rhode Island FC closing on their stadium naming rights deal with Centerville Bank for their new digs. Really excited to see how that plays out. The upcoming schedule now for New Mexico, we touched on it a little bit. A lot of games here over the next few weeks, JJ. In fact, we're here 4 more times all the way up until May 10th. The only away trip, May 3rd, going to El Paso.
You got to love it for the fans, the team. It's nice to be able to be in your own bed, be at home. But you want to take advantage of a stretch like this.
And one to call out, April 26th, there you see Union Omaha. You're probably scratching your head and thinking, I don't know who that is. They're a USL League One club. It is the USL Jägermeister Cup, and so New Mexico is participating in that for the first time this season. This will be the first time we welcome a League One club to the lab. Moving on now to our team of the week. There you see Gerald Margarita. We're going to see him in just a moment. Malik Foster, Albert Diqua up top. You see Pedro Santos, Arturo Ortiz in the back line. On the bench, Connor Donovan, the stalwart defender for North Carolina, not in the squad here tonight. As, he was nominated there. And there you see our coach of the month. It is San Antonio's Carlos Llamosa, as we just mentioned. And then your player of the month as well was Abdelatif Abukura. So we've got still more coming up for you. Let's have a look at our goal of the week, player of the month, and our save of the week here from the USL Championship, week number 5.
Margarita! Oh, wow! What a goal for Phoenix! An avalanche in San Antonio, and Rising lead 2-1. In a brace. The Abdelatif Abukura show.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help.
Termites can eat a pound of wood a day. A pound of wood a day.
pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Oh, he finds the back of the net. Birmingham's on the board.
Overhead kick and it's in! 4-1 Locomotive.
This week on USL All Access, Ryan Helfrich, president of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, joins us to talk their first game in 9 months at the stadium. In Division I and promotion and relegation for the Rowdies, Phoenix Rising knocking off the only perfect team remaining, and 5 teams waited until the 75th minute to salvage at least a point or better. Championship play is fast and furious. Things are starting to be wide open. Join us.
Halftime here at the Lab, North Carolina in their first trip up to the 505, scoreless through the opening half. As we've got some action to show you here from this first half. Let's go ahead and jump into our first half highlights. And despite the score being 0-0, plenty of opportunities so far, JJ.
Yeah, and for North Carolina, coming out aggressive and creating those chances from the wings.
And this, an early clearance from Talon Maples as Rafa, able to get down to the byline, caused some trouble, was looking to connect with the Brazilian Dolabella. But there you see the clearance from Talon Maples. And just a few minutes later, Conway looking for his 4th of the season, but denied by Alex Tambakis.
And Conway sitting right in the middle of Maples and riding all half along. The dangerous chance right there from him.
This perhaps the best chance for New Mexico is just missing Greg Hurst there off of that free kick. It was Marlon Vargas. And there's the angle that you and I sort of have from up here in the broadcast booth, as he didn't miss by much. Halftime stats, New Mexico 70% of the possession, but it's not about having possession, it's what you do with it. And there you see what North Carolina are doing with it. Look at the shot totals and shots on target.
Yeah, what's the purpose going to be in the second half? United has seen how North Carolina wants to defend them. They're willing to let them pass in the back and then kind of gradually ramp up the pressure, so you got to make it count. What is your purpose going to be in the second half? Because North Carolina, when they got on the ball, they had a purpose because they only had 30% possession, but you look at how many chances they created, the corners, the free kicks, it was advantage North Carolina.
Second 45 coming up here in just a moment. We'll step aside. We'll be back here at the Lab.
In the land of enchantment, every move counts. That's why you need New Mexico Orthopedics to get you back doing the things you love. The official orthopedic surgeons of New Mexico United. Somos Unidos.
My girls are anything but basic. And with the First Financial's high five checking rewards rate, we basically love living our life to the fullest. We used to wear pink on Wednesdays, but now orange is the new pink, and we wear it from head to toe every day. Ew, you have a basic bank? I got this. Nothing about me is basic, not even my credit union.
First Financial Credit Union, not a basic.
I want to bring up that big Open Cup matchup against El Paso Locomotive next Wednesday. That's right, 4 days from today, right across the street here from us. And now as I think of it, I believe this is the 19th, maybe 20th edition of the Derby del Camino Real. Of course, the match between New Mexico and El Paso. I think this completes the trifecta. They've played each other now in the regular season, in the playoffs, and now in the U.S. Open Cup.
Sometimes you just know what's going to happen. And El Paso is going to be the opponent. And for New Mexico and El Paso, the fan bases have a great rivalry. The games on the pitch are always intense. And what a way to get the U.S. Open Cup going right here in Albuquerque.
And then 3 weeks later, New Mexico making the trip down to El Paso to play Locomotive again. I'm sure those two clubs will be happy to not have to see each other, at least for the foreseeable future. Second 45 coming right up. And so you spoke a little bit about it, JJ, having a purpose with the ball. If you're New Mexico, how can they get Greg Hurst involved going forward?
It's going to take a couple chances over the top, but it's got to be that second pass. It's got to be when they get the ball to the midfield, can they do something to create for Greg Hurst where it's not just over the top? North Carolina's done a really good job of holding their lines. And yeah, we've seen New Mexico break a couple times, but it's on the long balls, and that's going to be tough to get consistent touches for Hurst if that's what United has to do.
Vargas, Lindsay plays this forward now. It's Fernando. Well done there by the teenager. Sundstrom comes back out to Zalalem. Gideon Zalalem played at Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. Came to the club from FC Den Bosch in the second tier of the Netherlands football system. Here's Seymour now. Ball poked away. Only as far as Ryden. Akale. Kalen Ryden scored 4 goals since joining New Mexico in 2020. All of them, no surprise, coming by header. This one finds its way to Jake McGuire.
I did see in that first half, too, Zalalem, he was dropping back, kind of covering for Jabang. Jabang getting forward early, and maybe that could be something, too. Get the ball at his feet, and they don't get from that midfield, and that extra touch in the final third for United.
Curious to see when these two head coaches start making their substitutions. Did see Sergio Rivas out here during the halftime warming up for New Mexico. Again, he was the difference maker in the only other meeting all time between these two clubs. Fernando went down. Sundstrom clears it away. It's a good idea there from Jabang, just didn't quite hit it hard enough. Here goes Perez now. North Carolina squandering the opportunity, was looking for Evan Conway at the back post.
That's exactly what we saw in the first half. North Carolina does not waste any time. If they get on the ball, they're springing forward. Ball out wide, coming right into the box. Saw that so many times in the first half. And also for United, had the first touch of the second half, so they're able to push forward. And what they don't want to have happen is get caught with the ball in the back too many times. Because, yeah, it's where you get 70% possession, but we're not able to go into it. They have to start their possession a little bit higher and not allow North Carolina to just settle in.
Maples looking long for Lindsay and just overhits the North Carolina native. Jalen Lindsay joins New Mexico having 90 MLS appearances under his belt. Those split between Sporting Kansas City and Charlotte FC. Here's Seymour. Seymour making his 86th appearance for New Mexico here tonight in league play. Here's Perez. Summersall. Goes back to Perez. Back to Summersall. Ball. Tambakis a little curious.
Now before the turnover, though, that's what you want to see United play from. Higher up the pitch. Not allow North Carolina to put that pressure on when they're playing too close to the 18. It's been an advantage to North Carolina.
Dolabella. He was looking for Rafa. The two Brazilians looking to link up there down the flank. So these are two teams that both found themselves in the postseason last year. North Carolina squeaking into the playoffs, 8th place. They finished on 48 points. Had the unfortunate draw of going to lose City in the first round, where they were dispatched by a final score of 3-2. New Mexico on the flip side hosted and won their first ever home playoff game. And then, as we noted earlier, they were sent packing by now head coach Dennis Sanchez and his then Las Vegas Lights.
We've talked about Greg Hurst. How do they get him the ball? Well, Conway has been right smack dab between Maples and Ryden, and a lot of half chances. North Carolina quickly pushing forward on the wings, but Conway kind of probably feeling the same way as Hurst, just waiting for his moment in this game.
Hodge pokes this one forward, looking for Cervania. Maples up to the task, and that is quality defending there from Talon Maples. Maples named the co-captain of this squad this season alongside Kalen Ryden, his first season with the honor. Great touch from Seymour. Gets it right back from Jabang. Seymour finds Fernando. Seymour. And that cross attempt is blocked, and Seymour wins the corner.
I love that build-up. See Ryden taking some of his space, pushing the ball forward, and then get that touch in the midfield. Starts pinging around, and now a corner for United.
Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. It was taken short. Here's Lindsay. Lindsay now was looking for Maples. Couldn't tell if that was a foul off the ball or if it's just a goal kick.
Good first few minutes from United. We've seen, all right, what's their purpose? They want the ball higher. They don't want to just settle for long balls over the top.
So McGuire, the league's leader in saves coming into this week. 17 of them. Picked up his first clean sheet of the season against FC Tulsa back in week 3. So 10 minutes out of the halftime break, and it's been a lot more of the same here for New Mexico.
This is where you'd rather start, though, trying to break down this block. 5 in the back, 4 in the midfield. North Carolina holding their lines well.
And this was the strategy that we've seen employed against New Mexico the last 2 times they've taken the pitch, down in Miami and then back on March 22nd when we were here against El Paso. Both of those teams really kind of just sat in a low block, asked New Mexico to pick them apart, and eventually New Mexico got out of both of those contests 1-0 winners with second half goals. And so they've shown that they can do that.
Zoel was speaking with the media this week, and that's exactly what he said. If teams want to sit back, we'll be patient.
First trying to turn, and McGuire comes out to grab that ball. Some great heads-up goalkeeping there. Here's Conway. Is it off Dolabella? Rafa now making the run down the flank. He's got space. His pass intercepted by Jabang. Still Jabang. He's pulled down, and Summersall now sees yellow. '56th minute yellow card, and now they're starting to pile up for North Carolina in that midfield. JJ, 3 yellow cards for the visitors on the pitch now.
Jabang saw him early. Get forward. They said that could be something that helps Spring United here in the second half. See those long strides, just kept running. Good job forcing North Carolina to make a tough decision. That decision led to a yellow card.
TLC free kick coming up here for New Mexico. Just looking to switch the angle here. It's Fernando. Lindsay. Akale heads it back, but only as far as Perez. It's going to be interesting to see how this midfield looks when Zico Bailey, he's back into the fold. He's back. He's in the 18 for Dennis Sanchez tonight after going out on international duty with the Philippines, picked up his 11th cap over his absence here in Albuquerque. But you've got him, and then you've also got Deon Harris. Vargas works his way through and just pokes that one over the crossbar. But really the first good opportunity for New Mexico in this second half.
You love the passing right there in the midfield, a little tic-tac-toe, give and go, creating that opportunity. Yeah, went over the crossbar, but you want to see that confidence, you see the aggressiveness. Don't get too stagnant. I think late in that half, in the first half, I got a little stagnant. They just kind of were passing to pass, and now they're looking for those moments to get forward. As you said, Tyler, you got to have the willingness to understand that, all right, maybe you need to grind out the game for a little bit, but don't get too frustrated. Don't stop the crisp passes, the high passing accuracy, because that's how United has found those goals in the second half.
Funny enough, I was just talking about the return of Zico Bailey. It sounds like he will be slotting into this midfield for Dennis Sanchez here coming up. Owen Hurst looked to have just been caught a little bit off guard by that ball. what I was saying, Zico Bailey getting back into the fold. And then you've got Dayon Harris, who's making his way back from injury as well, who, by all accounts, one of the fastest players in the league before his ACL injury last year. He has been working hard in his rehabilitation process. You know, he's excited to get back on the field. Thomas Pondeka is another new face that we saw added to this roster this year. He played 13 minutes in that game against El Paso before going off injured. He's working his way back into the fold. So many options for Dennis Sanchez.
You love to see it. Something that United over the last few years has really done a good job of is, you know, acquiring depth, quality depth, keeping all these players engaged and involved.
A lot of contact there. And there's a foul called against Dolabella. There's a final score out in Tulsa. Oakland Roots picking up the victory, and there it is. The substitution, Gideon Zalalem. He'll be replaced by Zico Bailey. Zalalem, now this is important. Zalalem picked up a yellow card in the 39th minute, and so now in New Mexico, they have just a Kale left out there who's on a booking. Whereas North Carolina, they still have Rafa, Summersall, and Perez all on yellows out there.
And New Mexico's been aggressive at a half, and this change is interesting because Zalalem was dropping back a lot, you know, and he was kind of the one playing a lot of center and defensive midfield, and with, you know, Jabang getting forward. So we'll see if just Jabang, you know, stays back or just continues to push forward, and I think that's what we'll see is New Mexico just really trying to tip the field in the second half.
Here's Dolabella. Fan soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. SeatGeek, of course, the official ticketing provider of New Mexico United as well, so you can hop on there, grab all your black and yellow tickets, come hang with us at the lab. Dennis Sanchez just with some questions. So a TLC free kick here for North Carolina. Dennis Sanchez, 4th head coach in club history. Dennis Sanchez, he was actually announced by the club on Christmas Eve of 2024. How about that for a present for the black and yellow faithful?
Nice stocking stuffer.
No, this ball chipped forward. Fernando giving chase. And Summersall up to the task.
I like where the possession is starting for New Mexico in this half. We did see one breakout from North Carolina, but fewer chances on the counter. You know, New Mexico United maintaining possession deeper into the final third and not allowing those counters so far from North Carolina.
Now we're going to see the first change here for John Bradford. Olix Anderson. He's on to replace Luis Perez. Perez, despite picking up a yellow early into the match, just 9 minutes in, he played very well. He was heavily involved.
It was a big part of when North Carolina was getting forward on the wings. You know, the ball into the box.
Maples looking for Vargas. A little bit of a heavy touch there from Marlon Vargas. Great defending there from Rafa. Lindsay finds Bailey. Here's Jabang. Cross goes in. Seymour was looking for Hurst. The diving clearance there from Paco Craig.
Exactly what you want on that second ball back into the box, looking for your striker. North Carolina did a fantastic job, though, closing the space around Hurst.
Here's Lindsay. He's got space. Cross goes in and dealt with once again by Paco Craig. New Mexico asking all the questions here. 65 minutes in. Here's Fernando. Lindsay, back post, Seymour! Just couldn't get on the end of that, Will Seymour.
Again, the service, it's where you want it for United. Seymour. See it one more time. Just mistimed it.
And that's one that Seymour is going to have dreams about. You got to give credit to McGuire. He was there as well. Would have made for an interesting situation had Will Seymour actually made contact. And recent substitution here for NCFC, Olix Anderson. It's from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's actually the NCFC career scoring leader, 37 goals. Cervania links up with Conway. Back for Cervania. Sliding challenge, and this one judged to have been just outside the 18 as Usman Jabang playing with fire there.
Yeah, tough challenge from Jubang. Great counter the other way from North Carolina. And you see Conway's been pushed out to the left with Anderson coming to the game to lead the line, and that's a dangerous one. You don't want to leave your feet right there. You just want to stay on your feet, maintain that angle between the forward and the goal, but instead, yellow card, and now ball coming in from the outside.
That was Jaden Cervania drawing the foul. The Birmingham, Alabama native. He's got 20 caps with the Puerto Rico national team, so plenty of experience for Cervania. This is Maldonado to deliver. Looking to break the deadlock here. Right-footed delivery. The ball, it was headed out, but now it'll be a call change to a goal kick.
Yeah, it looks like it was off the head of Anderson. Just pinged it right off the forward.
Jabang also went into the book there after that last challenge. Yellow cards brought to you by the guys at Ferguson Law Firm. Here's Maples. The matchup on the touchline, we talked about it a little bit between John Bradford and Dennis Sanchez. Both of these coaches were championship winners in the 2023 season. Bradford did it in League One. This ball floated into the box. It goes out. It's going to be another corner. Bradford guiding this NCFC team to the 2023 League One title. Dennis Sanchez led Austin FC2 to the MLS Next Pro title. Here's Fernando in the box. Fernando! And he sends it over the crossbar.
That one hurts. You expect so much more from that spot. United was able to catch North Carolina flat-footed, quickly got the ball inside the 18. Great fake, set up on a tee, but instead kicked field goal.
How about that shot fake? Sent the defender sliding off into the distance. Fernando scored last time out, his first in black and yellow. Anderson gets a touch. Dolabella goes down. And Dolabella will see yellow for simulation. So 71st minute yellow card shown to the Brazilian.
That's what we saw in the first half when Makale picked up his yellow card for simulation. You credit the ref. He's been on it. He's been confident in the calls when he's brought out the yellow card.
It's rare to see one yellow card for simulation in a match, more or less two. It happened on the same side, almost in the exact same spot at that. So a double change here for North Carolina. So we're going to see Rodrigo da Costa and Ahmad Al-Kwak coming on here for North Carolina. Rodrigo da Costa, of course, the USL veteran. He's also a Brazilian in his 8th season in the league. He's already got 1 assist on the season. He's the all-time leading scorer for FC Tulsa. How about that?
And North Carolina bringing scores off the bench. Ton of experience on the pitch for both teams. And New Mexico United came out of the half in control, found a purpose for their possession. And now North Carolina looking for the counter to that.
Also brought on the 23-year-old Ahmad Al-Kwak, making his 5th appearance for the club, 6th appearance. Check that. Makale loses possession. Al-Kwak, the North Carolina native, spent the last 5 seasons at UNC. He was a Tar Heel. Made his pro debut back in Week 1 against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Looking for his first professional goal. Fans can't watch the match? Turn on it. SiriusXM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. We'll pause for just a moment as Seymour, this is defender in a blender. Seymour looking to play the cross in. When it dealt with momentarily. There's Cervania, and he'll get rid of the danger. Plus, you can also hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on SiriusXM FC 157 and the new SiriusXM app. Some more. He's a bit hobbled, took his time getting up there. How about this for a ball? As the offside flag goes up. That was a good idea there from Maldonado.
Maldonado been quiet. Had some touches in the first half. But Maldonado is one of the players that coming in, 7 chances created, leading the team.
So a change here for Dennis Sanchez. You'll see the Albuquerque native, Sergio Rivas. He's on to replace Ousmane Jabang. Jabang picked up that yellow card about 8 minutes ago. As we noted earlier, Rivas, the difference maker in the only other meeting between these two clubs in history. And again, it looked like Rivas was going to do it, but the offside flag is up. And so the 10,000 on hand will have to quell those celebrations for the time being. Rivas looking to make an instant impact.
Well, that's what he can do coming off the bench. A creator in that midfield, almost had another game-changing moment for United. And you look at Sergio Rivas, and it's a great touch there, but offsides. What he's done in his career. Grew up in Albuquerque. By the way, he was my neighbor for a little while. So he's a great family, lived down the street. Such an awesome dude with him and his brother. So it's great to see him back on the pitch here for United.
Getting some exclusive reporting from Sergio Rivas, his former neighbor here on the broadcast. How about that?
You learn a lot about people when they're your neighbors. So
I'm sure
good
you do.
dude.
Absolutely. Here's Maples. Zico. Here's Rivas. Out to Akale. Miscommunication there between Rivas and Bailey. Sergio Rivas, with his substitution here tonight, marks his 115th league appearance for the Black and Yellow, his hometown club, having joined them in 2021. He's got 17 goals to his name since that time. Here he is with the ball at his feet. Draws the foul. And Rivas, 25 appearances last year, but spent a big chunk of the season battling through injury. As Lindsay heads this ball down, is McGuire alert there.
It's a good half for New Mexico United. Now to start watching, North Carolina, are they going to want to try to counter? Are they going to want to push forward in those moments that we saw in the first half, because United has had them on their heels?
Ball poked away by Fernando. And just out of reach for Miquele Akale. See a lot of walking here in the 79th minute.
That's a combination, of course. There are altitude, been an up and down game. But again, if you're North Carolina, you start thinking, you're trying to slow the game down, find a way to come out the point.
Anderson. Offside flag goes up. Yeah, I mean, taking a point from the Lab here in front of 10,000 people. I think North Carolina would probably have settled for that at the beginning of the night.
And it'd be two solid road performances coming back from a deficit last time out.
Rivas gets it back from Vargas. Brings the ball back. Bounces back to Zico Bailey. Bailey picked up his 11th cap for the Philippines national team. There's Akale. Bailey had a pop and it's blocked by Somersault.
Added a little different swagger on the ball in the second half, getting the ball deeper into North Carolina territory. Quick decisions, good passes.
Ryden finds Bailey. Looking for Fernando. So 10 minutes plus stoppage time remain here at the Lab. Tyler Ortega alongside JJ Buck, and this has been a good one. It's been sort of like a chess match, I feel.
Oh, absolutely. And we knew North Carolina was going to be game coming to this one. The experience that they have, the multiple ways that they've played and gotten results this season, and United was going to want to come out early and just be excited to be back home in front of these fans. And when North Carolina was able to answer, set that tone in the first half, and now in the second half we've seen United really be able to open things up.
So the official number is in. 10,291 fans on hand here to watch this contest at the Lab tonight. A gorgeous night here in Albuquerque. Attendance brought to you by New Mexico Mutual. Bailey does well to win the ball back momentarily. Here goes Al Kwok. Plays this back, and Maldonado has his shot attempt blocked, and Tambakis has to jump up and snatch that one out of the sky. New Mexico looking to counter as Rivas draws the foul once again. End-to-end action here so far.
Oh, star in the notes there, Ryden. Great job getting in front of that shot.
Hurst looking to link up with Vargas. He does. Here's Hurst looking for Akale. That ball just overhit.
A little heavy, but Hurst had the right idea. It wasn't selfish there. Could have been anxious, hasn't had a lot of chances. Got Akale in front of him, trying to lay it out there. And this is to the moments you find out what home field advantage is all about. Got a great crowd here tonight in North Carolina. Maybe they want to sit back and just look to get out of here with a draw. So how do you push forward? How do you find that one moment if you're United?
Here's Maples. Maples and Tambakis with two of the biggest moments of the match so far for New Mexico. Unfortunately for the black and yellow, both of those happening on their own goal line.
Ryden and Maples playing much higher up the pitch in possession here in the second half, and it's led to good things for United.
Here's Vargas. Vargas with the ankle breaker. Ultimately dispossessed. Foul called. Is it Zico Bailey, the guilty party? Now double change coming up here for New Mexico. And we're going to see a club debut here for the Cameroonian, the 27-year-old Thomas Among. Joins New Mexico this season, having spent the last two seasons at Orange County prior to that. was Evan Conway's teammate at San Diego Loyal back in 2022. So he's on for the first time wearing the crest, and also coming on, we've got the Austin, Texas native. It's Mackenzie Gaines.
Fresh legs, the pace of Gaines. He can provide a moment. We saw Rivas quickly able to get involved when he came on.
Mackenzie Gaines, the 27-year-old, spent last season with Houston Dynamo, Nashville SC, also spent some time with Houston Dynamo 2. But before that, spent about 3 seasons in the Crown City with Crown Legacy, that's Charlotte FC 2. Also spent 3 seasons with Charlotte FC in MLS. Scoring once for the club, scoring twice for the club, actually. "85 minutes in the books. Just under 5 minutes plus stoppage time left. Is there a moment of magic here for the Kings of Chaos? He did it in the 83rd minute against El Paso right here on this field 3 weeks ago. Seymour finds Bailey. Here's Rivas now. Going the other way. Throw in here for North Carolina. Fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. You can catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Here's Hodge and Cervania. Looking for Anderson. Anderson gets the first touch, but too heavy, and it finds its way to Tambakis.
And North Carolina, that's what they've done all night long, just quickly sprung forward in a moment's notice. You know, they did really good early. They sat back, but their counter in that first half was really good. And it's been all United here in the second half, but still, you mentioned United being the Kings of Chaos. Can happen at any moment either way.
88th minute. Tyler Ortega alongside J.J. Buck. Thanks for hanging out with us, especially our viewers back in North Carolina. It's getting late, almost closing in on 11 o'clock out there. But you know they're holding on, hoping to see their side walk away with a point in one of the toughest venues in the league. Nice little dummy there from Seymour. He gets it back. Rivas. Still Rivas. Among. And he goes side netting. And I think that was Thomas Among's first touch in black and yellow right there.
Almost puts United on the board. Just fantastic work. And we've seen that multiple times in the second half. The confidence picking their way through the lines of North Carolina. The substitutes providing a spark just outside.
Thomas Among, he's somebody that knows how to score. He scored 15 goals over 47 appearances for Orange County over the past 2 seasons. Prior to that, or actually over the last 4 seasons, 29 goals to his name. One of them coming against New Mexico when he played for Loyal.
Big whistle there for North Carolina.
Cervania certainly in no hurry here. Neither are NCFC to get this free kick taken. Just bleeding out precious time here. Take another look on this TLC replay. I'll leave that one open for discussion. This will be a goal kick here for New Mexico. And now one of the North Carolina players down at the back post. This time it's Finn Sundstrom.
Cavs start cramping up a little bit late in the game. On top of the art of time wasting in North Carolina. Frustrated New Mexico in that first half. United's been buzzing here in the second half.
Tried to run it off, and that cramp came right back for Sundstrom. And so we are officially into second half stoppage time. Stoppage time brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. And now Sundstrom, you will exit the pitch, and we'll get back underway. And so Sundstrom will be replaced. Justin Malou comes in. The Senegal native, the 26-year-old, he's making his first appearance of the season for NCFC, having made 22 last year, scored twice. So now time really ticking in this one. Gaines finds Bailey. Rivas. Somehow New Mexico still in possession. Vargas gets it down to Lindsay. Seymour has it blocked. Seymour again, blocked again. Here's Gaines. New Mexico takes the lead. It's the first goal for New Mexico. Thomas Among in second half stoppage time. Welcome to the lab.
Kings of chaos indeed. The pressure finally breaks at the back. North Carolina FC, you tip your cap. They played so hard, defending till the end, but they could not keep United off the scoreboard.
On his club debut, Thomas Among. The redirection in front of goal. Mackenzie Gaines will get the assist. He doesn't care. New Mexico in the lead.
The final touch missing in the second half. You had the lead up. You had the balls into the box, and then you get the knee of destiny. Put United in front.
Kings of Chaos.
Find a way in the second half.
Thomas Among, he's scored against New Mexico. He's now scored for New Mexico. And what a goal that was. New Mexico showing resilience, looking to pick up their third consecutive 1-0 win. And still another opportunity here for North Carolina. This one not done yet. DaCosta will play this one in. This could be the final opportunity of the evening. Back post, still bouncing around. Tambakis sees that one go over his goal. And now a little bit of extracurriculars going on. I think that's Summersall who went down. Not quite sure what happened there. He looks to be in quite a resume and give his chance another side. He's rolling around there right behind Tambakis. 5 minutes gone by of second half stoppage. Anderson battling there with the back line of New Mexico. No problem for Tambakis as we've got a player down now for New Mexico on the opposite side of the field. I believe that might be the goal scorer, Thomas Among. So we'll hope he's well. And well, we've got a moment. We can let you know that eFootball is here. You can live your dream, rep your team, play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball, free to play. Download now. So we'll get another look on this TLC replay. Yeah, Among really committed to that challenge. Looked to have took the brunt of the contact.
Yeah, it's the immediate stoppage, too. Anytime you're dealing with a potential head injury, make sure you can get the staff onto the field as quickly as possible. But Among, what a moment in the second half. And substitutes stepping up, providing the spark that New Mexico needed.
For Thomas Among, that is his first goal since October 27th of last fall. He played for Orange County. He scored against Hartford Athletic in that match. So we take another look at that replay, and it just seemed opportunity after opportunity. Eventually, JJ, something had to give.
And just the quick reaction to the box and get your leg up, directed on goal. Gaines lining that one up, and all you want to do right there is you put it on goal, put it right in front of the goal, and that's what he did.
So good news for the black and yellow. Thomas Among looks to be all right. So 4 minutes of second half stoppage time is quickly turned into 8. With the injuries, the goal scored. New Mexico, that now makes it 3 goals in the last 15 minutes of the second half. Only Louisville City have scored more this season with 4. Tambakis sends this ball away. And Among looks to be just fine as he chases this ball down. Takes another knock.
It's tough putting your body on the line. You're just going down into the corner trying to wall off as many defenders as you can.
It looked like Fernando came over asking for the card. Among, he took a pretty big shot there. Perhaps just a little bit of frustration boiling over the NCFC players. They played so hard for 90-plus minutes. And now, New Mexico just looking to run out the clock. Almost looks like a rugby scrum going on down there in that corner from up where we are.
I thought John Bradford, though, he had a good plan for his team. Yeah, they absorbed some possession.
That is the full-time whistle here at the Lab, and the Kings of Chaos strike once again. This time, Thomas Among finding the back of the net in second half stoppage time. New Mexico pick up their 3rd consecutive 1-0 win. As we go through our play of the match, it was Thomas Among. Play of the match brought to you by Vara Winery. Thomas Among, also your man of the match as well. Man of the match brought to you by Pepsi. And Alex Tambakis will walk away with your save of the match honors for that huge save he had on Evan Conway back in that first half. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, JJ, your thoughts on this incredible match tonight?
Oh, again, as I was saying, I thought John Bradford had his team ready to go. They allowed New Mexico to have possession, but they made it really tough early in this one. They sat back, 5 at the back, held their lines well, really forced New Mexico to play deep in their own territory, and it wasn't until the second half where United was able to get possession higher. When they were playing higher, when they were starting in possession, almost at midfield, that's when they were able to start to pick apart that back line, start to create some of those chances, balls in the box, and there's the energy from the bench change the game.
So New Mexico prevail once again. They remain perfect at home. We'll step aside. We'll be back in just a moment.
Game on at New Mexico's ultimate game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's best sportsbook is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
Final score here from the lab. New Mexico United 1, North Carolina FC 0. Full-time score presented by First Financial Credit Union. Tyler Ortega here alongside JJ Buck. And JJ, the Kings of Chaos, do it again. 2 matchups against North Carolina, 2 victories, both of them by way of second half stoppage time winners. These are your full-time highlights and some big opportunities early for the visitors.
Yeah, good game plan from North Carolina. Kind of frustrating New Mexico United. And then their counterattack, they pounced early and often in this game.
New Mexico had their fair share of opportunities as well. A free kick that just missed Greg Hurst on the outside from Marlon Vargas. That's an incredible angle there, as Greg Hurst really just had to get a touch. Fast forward, second half, this is where the act could spark off the bench. Good neighbor as well, apparently.
Absolutely.
A few minutes later, New Mexico, this is when it went down. 2 minutes into stoppage time, Will Seymour had a couple shots blocked. Gaines unleashes one, and it's redirected on his club debut by Thomas Among.
A little bit of everything. Not only did he score the game-winning goal, but he was battling in the air, took a couple shots at the end. He's going to feel it, but he's going to feel good tomorrow. And you see the emotion, the energy that came through this crowd after that goal.
Thomas Among was on the pitch for all of 8 minutes for New Mexico before he found the back of the net for the first time in black and yellow. These are your full-time stats here as New Mexico, they dominated possession all night long, JJ, and eventually it paid off.
Yeah, it wasn't until the second half where they found purpose for that possession. And North Carolina had plenty of chances, and they're, of course, going to be stung by the loss. But I'm sure you're going to look back at that first half and want to be cleaner in some of the balls into the box and just find a way to get a body on the end of it, because you knew they were going to be game coming to this one. The big-time comeback last time out for the draw on the road, a big win before that. But United at home, dangerous until the final whistle.
Up next for New Mexico, we talked about it. It's a date with El Paso in the U.S. Open Cup next Wednesday, April 16th. We'll see you there across the street at the UNM Soccer Complex. That's going to do it for us here tonight. For everybody part of the broadcast, for our director, Gary Williams, for JJ Buck on color, my name is Tyler Ortega. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
goal just took New Mexico United to the top of the Western Conference. Talk a little bit about these fans here tonight.
Yeah, the fans, they were just unbelievable. First to the last minute, they kept like supporting to be part of this group, and it's very exciting for the season.
All right, one more time, your man of the match, Pepsi man of the match, Thomas Among. All right, fans, we need you back on Wednesday right across the street at UNM. New Mexico United takes on El Paso in the open